My Seven Chakras, episode 152.
The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are.
The seven chakras, swirling vortices of energy, positioned throughout our body from the base of the spine to the crown of the head. For thousands of years, this ancient wisdom has been passed on from master to disciple. What are the functions of these energy centers? And could these chakras help you unlock your destiny and find your true purpose? Welcome to My Seven Chakras. And now, your host, Aditya Jai Kumar.
What's up, action takers? AJ here, founder and host of My Seven Chakras, the show where we dive deep into the ancient world, uncover nuggets of wisdom, and then brush them off with the help of science. This is the show where we strongly believe that spirit and science must always go hand in hand, and that failure is not the end but a stepping stone to success. This is one show where you not only learn about the practices but also get to learn how our guests use those practices, have used those practices to face life's challenges and ultimately overcome them. So because you are here, one more time, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Yes, you, the person listening to this episode right now at this very moment. Action Tribe, I spent hours and hours prepping and preparing for each and every episode just to ensure that you're able to benefit from each and every minute that you spend listening. So if you've loved the experience so far, I have a request for you. Would you consider leaving us an iTunes review? As I've shared before, iTunes spends a lot of time checking out show reviews to make sure that people are loving the podcasts that are on their platform, which means that if we get more reviews, we get more exposure, we get more action takers, and ultimately a larger movement. Every review matters. So if you like our show, just type this link onto your browser. That's our website, my7chakras.com/review. That's my7chakras.com/REVIEW. And leave us your thoughts, your feedback, or your comments in the form of a review. I know that you're going to do it, and I look forward to reading what you write. And with that, we are now ready to bring you our featured guest for today, Asha Prasad. So Asha, are you ready to inspire?
Yes, I am, AJ. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. So Dr. Asha Prasad is the creator of the Prasad Method. She has authored the eBooks, Activate the Heal in Your Health, Bridging the Bridge, an introduction to the mind and body connection and the reliable essentials, and has released her newest title, Authentic Alignment, How Ancient Wisdom and Modern Science Can Revitalize your health, happiness, and potential. For the last 18 years, Dr. Prasad has been one of the most sought after alternative health professionals and has built a full practice that integrates ancient wisdom with modern science. Her clients are deeply attracted to her work based on her unique approach to healing, one that truly addresses the root cause of our modern struggle in a way that no other approach can offer. So Asha, I can feel that today's episode is going to be truly amazing. So firstly, welcome to our show. And for our listeners, take a few extra seconds and tell us a bit more about your story.
Great. Thank you, AJ. I have been a doctor of chiropractic for over 18 years, and 10 of those years were in the States, and 8.5 have now been here in Europe. And I've had the great opportunity to be able to work with patients and eventually working with clients as well from all over the world in helping people bring and create true balance into their life, bringing and maximizing their holistic potential. And it's been really a tremendous, I guess I would say, gift to be able to do that, and pleasure, and to be of service to people in this way. And that's what really has stemmed the Prasad Method that I've created a couple of years ago that has kind of evolved from all of this and bringing people more into their true essential self.
That's amazing. I can't wait to learn more about the Prasad Method as well as your story. And like we always do, I'm curious to know, what is your favorite inspirational quote, and really how do you apply this quote to your day-to-day life?
So my quote is from Carl Jung, the Swiss psychotherapist. And the quote is, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." And I think that this quote for me really inspires me, and the way I try to live up to that every day is that I believe that each and every one of us has a uniqueness, a unique light within us that we are here to shine. And everything that we can do on a daily basis, and it is a daily activities, daily routines, a daily effort in a way, but in order to express who we truly are. And it is a privilege, it is a gift to be able to do that. And that is by far one of my most favorite quotes and inspirational. It's very simple, but it's one of them that I hold really in my meditation every morning as the forefront of how can I be and reveal more of who I am here on earth in order to help and serve other people and to bring more light light to whatever it is that I'm doing.
I love this quote. The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. So, Action Tribe, my question to you, what is that unique light deep within you right now that you are here to shine? How are you going to illuminate the path for others? So thanks a lot for sharing. And with that, let's dive right in. My first question to you, Asha, is what inspired you to write your book, Authentic Alignment?
Well, one of the things that was happening for me in my professional practice was that I started seeing more and more people coming to me with much more than just your regular back pain, neck pain, headaches, physical symptoms. And for myself personally, I had gone through a lot of trials and tribulations myself in seeing that there was much more to pain, physical pain, than meets the eye. So what happened to me is I was going through some things on a personal level, a lot of trials and tribulations, a lot of losses, a lot of different things. And in that, I started seeing that more in my practice. And I was getting a lot more questions, a lot more people contacting me on, what does this all mean? What exactly, how do I align myself? And so that really all led up to me writing this book, because I wanted to share with people up until now what it was that I was able to see, these patterns that were happening for each and every one of us, and how each and every one of us are dealing with our own mix of or combination of things that manifest into our life, and how is it that we can address getting to the root cause and really making a huge difference for ourselves and also for the things that we're doing in the world. And so that really led me to wanting to share that with people.
So it's a two-pronged approach, if I can put it that way. You noticed certain patterns through your practice and through your own experience as well, and through your engagement with your clients. You noticed that there was much more to the physical pain that meets the eye. You noticed these patterns, and that sort of helped you dive deep into the root cause of why people were experiencing these challenges. And that's why you wrote the book in the first place. Now, before moving on, you're a chiropractor, right? So for someone who hasn't heard of this term before, what does a chiropractor do?
As chiropractors, we really address the function of the nervous system in relationship to the skeletal system, to the structure of the body, to the vertebra, the spine, and the bones and muscles. And we want to make sure that everything is in alignment. When it's in proper alignment, then the nervous system has the ability to be able to function optimally. So that's what we do as chiropractors. And for me, this made sense to me in deepening basically what was coming up on my path to dive deeper really into that true alignment, to take it deeper than a physical.
Thanks for that. So what really is the Prasad Method then?
The Prasad Method is really a methodology to be able to look at utilizing different philosophies and techniques and different approaches to be able to tap into an individual's holistic potential. And the way I look at holistic potential is that is really a combination of the inner environment that's going on the inside of ourselves and the outer, okay? And bringing that really together, integrating those two. The Prasad Method, the reason why it's even called the Prasad Method is the word Prasad, or that is my last name, that is my father's name. But in India, when you go to the temples, whenever you go to the temples, we give prasadam or prasada. That is an offering that we give to the divine that's redistributed. It's most of the time food, but it can be flowers, it can be anything, but it's redistributed, basically redistributing the blessings. So you may give something, you may offer something, but that same thing may not come back to you, but it could be spread to, the next 100 people that are there. So for me, this was very important because I kind of see as we get on our own journey and really tap into our own authentic alignment, we are doing a service not only for ourselves, but for everything. It comes up in everything that we do and everybody that we interact with. And so what I do with the Prasad Method is I teach people and help people on that journey.
So love that explanation. And I really didn't know that the name Prasad stemmed not just from your surname, but from the Indian ritual of when you go to the temple, you offer prasad to the deities and the gods. And I love how you spoke of when you make that change in yourself, you're not just impacting yourself, but the community at large and the world around you as well. So love that. Let's talk about the challenge now. What are some of the common symptoms of a person who is not in authentic alignment?
The symptoms, that's a very good question, AJ. The symptoms can range. A lot of times we've got low back pain, neck pain, headaches. Some people have very subtle symptoms such as tiredness, fatigue, lack of concentration. Pain is the last signal from our body that tells us, it's a warning system, of course. It's our body speaking to us. And sometimes it doesn't show up as pain, but sometimes it shows up as tiredness, agitation, lack of concentration. These are all signs and, I guess you could say, signs and symbols for us to really wake us up. It allows us, it's our body talk, really. It's our body having a conversation with us, trying to get our attention. And that allows us to be able to get into the mental, emotional, and spiritual levels if we're aware, if we're cultivating awareness around that. So I see a wide range of the symptoms that come in that you can kind of say, okay, if you're experiencing this, it could be that you're not in alignment with your true self.
Mm-hmm. So you spoke about the lower back pain, the fatigue, the tiredness, which I'm sure a lot of people are facing, especially when they come back home after work. The pain, the signs that our body is giving us that something might not be right. And, these are the challenges that you spoke of. But what are some of the benefits then of the Prasad method, if you could elaborate on that a bit?
Yes, definitely. Several of the benefits are feeling a sense of purpose, having more clarity, having more energy, having a sense of fulfillment, definitely decreasing your pain or eliminating your pain or symptoms, physical symptoms. But one of the things that I find a lot of people end up experiencing is really this sense of purpose and really feeling content and fulfilled in their life. They feel like they're not just going day to day, the daily grind and getting up and, having their breakfast and taking the kids to school and going to work. And they feel like there's, I guess, fulfillment and connectedness also. So it's not just about on the physical level, the pain. A lot of people do experience that, of course. They get rid of the pain first and their symptoms, but there's so much more about that really kind of feeds their soul, is the way I look at it. It's food for the soul as well.
Sure. So finding your life's purpose and finding your life's calling is a topic that we dive into each and every episode. So I'm glad that you not only help people eliminate that physical pain, but up and above that, you help them find their direction and find that feeling and that sense of purpose, which everyone is really longing and looking for. Now, I read that you've built your practice, and your practice really integrates both ancient wisdom and modern science. So what are some of the ways in which you've integrated ancient wisdom into your practice? One
of the basic things that I look at is I'm teaching people about the chakra system, which I know that you're very well aware of, considering this podcast title. And the way I look at that, and I'll explain it this way, is that, integrating, so we've got our physical body, and whenever I'm talking about ancient practices, there's this energetic body that we refer to as the chi or chakra system, whatever way you want to define it. And those are these ancient ideas, thought processes, philosophies, whatever you want to name them. And those are still present. So bringing that to present time and incorporating that and being able to teach people to listen to both energy bodies, if you want to, energy body and your electrical body, so to speak. When I say electrical body, I mean, our nervous system and our actual physical body. Our energetic body is more of the chakra system, the way I look at that, and integrating those two. So there's a lot of learning that needs to happen and really tuning in to what is speaking up for me? What is coming up for me that could be a challenge? And where do I maybe have a block? What am I running up against over and over and over again in my life? Not just on a physical level, but also, on the other levels. And so I incorporate that in that way. Now, I do also incorporate some deep breathing exercises and also meditation and other ancient practices that, have been around for thousands and thousands of years.
Love that. So as you might imagine, through schools and colleges, all the students have been taught about the physical body and the electrical body. And then one of your clients comes to you and gets to know about the energetic body. So do they have a hard time believing this new energetic body that
sometimes, yeah, so that's a good question. That's a really good question. I think it's about assessing each individual is different, and individuals are ready when they are ready. And sometimes I have treated people and worked with people that weren't really ready for me to just dive in and talk about chakras from day one, but explaining it in different ways that is understandable and easier for them. Even having a basic conversation about energy, just generally, because I realize that there are a lot of people that don't even want to talk about energy. They maybe have not even thought of ourselves that way. They haven't heard of it. So absolutely, there are some people that are not open to it, but I just meet the person where they are. Really. I think that that's really important because even if we're not mentally open and ready, I believe that there's a reason why that person's coming to me specifically so that I can work with them in a certain way.
Love that. Action Tribe, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Now, Asha, you mentioned that your focus is addressing the root cause of the challenge that a person is going through. Based on the numerous people that you worked with, is there a specific example that you could share with us to help us understand this better?
Yes. There's one particular that comes to mind when you ask me that question. And this was a gentleman that was in his 60s, that very high, powerful, successful, built a lot of companies, very with it guy. Like, if he had everything together. When you saw him come in and it was just, nicely dressed and very, very polite, you could tell, that he had everything together, but he had this incredible amount of low back pain. And he was somebody that definitely was not someone that I would just start talking about energy with on the first. In fact, I didn't for several visits, actually. I just didn't mention anything. But I knew that there was something else going on because I was treating him with traditional chiropractic treatment and it was getting a little bit better, but it was still coming back and it was still very, very intense for him. And he even had x-rays taken and he had MRI scans and there was just nothing to be. I mean, he was 66 the first time that I saw him. And sure, there was this normal degeneration that you find just about on anybody at that age, a little bit here, a little bit there. But for the rest, nothing that they could pinpoint was causing the pain. And so one day he came in and he was extremely frustrated. He had to travel a lot for his businesses and very busy. And he came in and he was so frustrated and so angry that he had this pain. And finally, I thought, I'm going to talk to him about what I know could really make a difference for him. I was afraid to up until that point. I have to be honest with you. I really was, because I thought, I don't know how I'm going to bring this across to him. But I sat him down and I said, okay, let's talk about what's going on for you. How are you feeling? You've got all the success. Wonderful. But how are you as an individual feeling about what's going on in your life? And so that conversation started a lot. It just broke out. He broke down in tears just within minutes. There's this really tough man, successful man, just broke down in tears. And we were able to break through some of the emotional and spiritual challenges that he was going through. He was able to actually share that with somebody, and he's never been able to do that. And that was really getting to the root. Now, it took several visits after that and sessions that we worked on that with different modalities and different techniques. What ended up happening for him, AJ, is that within 3 months after that conversation, he was completely pain-free. His low back was, he didn't even notice his low back anymore. He sold his companies, all of his companies, and he actually took up painting again, which was a passion of his that he had put aside for the success, basically. It was and he was excellent at it. And when on his 75th birthday, I remember I saw the patient he was under my care for a while. He's moved, whenever I moved away from the States, I no longer saw him again. I hear from him every once in a while, but he does showings of his paintings now. And he is living such a vital life at 78 now, 78, 79 years old. And that's an example of how you can think that it's low back pain, for example, in his case, but there was so much more going on underneath the surface. And until we could get to that, he could not take any more medication. He could only suppress it so much. But it was really the body telling that, hey, something is not okay here. And it's not just your back. I'm giving you the indication through your back, but there's something else going on here that you're not fulfilling what it is that you want to do.
Well, that's a really inspiring story. Thanks a lot for sharing. Now, I've read that at some point in your life, you were drawn to the field of chiropractic. So what really drew you to this field and how did it all happen?
Growing up in an Indian family, we usually have two choices in education: become an engineer or become a medical doctor. And in my family, I'm very fortunate that there's not that pressure with my immediate parents in my family. But what happened is I was going down the medical school road. But for me, the whole time, I was just kind of following what my friends were doing and what I thought I should be doing. And it was my father actually that noticed that this was probably not the way I really wanted to go. And he suggested to me that, do you want to maybe look into something else? Do you want to look into chiropractic? Do you want to look into alternative type of fields of profession? And the reason and I said, yes, of course. And so what happened is for myself, chiropractic made sense to me because it was about really stimulating the self-healing, self-regulating systems in the body and allowing that flow and that innate ability to flow through somebody. It's kind of like turning the lights on into the electrical system. And that for me, when we went to go visit for a weekend at the chiropractic university, I said, yes, I'm coming here. What do I need to do? How do I get in? You know, it was just like, it was a no-brainer. And that's really what got me into it just made sense to me. The other route that I was going was just not me. I could not, and I have deep respect for the medical profession. I have several medical doctors in my family, have a deep respect for what they do. And there is a time and a place for what they do. But for myself, my passion, it wasn't about that. It was about really tapping into prevention and tapping into that holistic potential first.
So which university was this?
So I went to the University of Life Chiropractic in Marietta, Georgia.
Oh, amazing. So I'm sure that visit must have really changed your life.
It did. It changed. Literally that weekend changed everything.
That's wonderful. Universities are so amazing. I remember I once visited my cousins in California, and we had visited some of the universities in that city in North California. So I went to the University of Berkeley, and I was really amazed. And, I stood in wonder looking at all those amazing buildings and libraries. And that really sparked that interest for me to do my MBA. And then I later did it in Canada, Vancouver. But that was the initial spark in my life.
Oh, excellent. Yes, it is. It's something that it's beautiful whenever that spark happens too. That's wonderful.
Well, thanks a lot for sharing your stories and the amazing insights. If you had to share, or if you had to ask one of your clients to take one action, just one, in order to move closer to an authentic alignment, what would that one action be?
The one action that I tell a lot of my clients initially is to breathe, to consciously breathe. And what I mean by that is, we're spending a lot of time in our day very high strung, very stressed out. And this is a simple tool to be able to connect with yourself. What we were talking about before, connecting the electrical and energetic body, taking a deep breath through your nose, into your abdomen, into your belly, just taking a deep breath, taking a moment or two and getting really still and quiet really gets us in touch with who we are in that moment, no matter what's going on outside. So that is my one tip that I always tell my clients actually is, okay, let's just bring it back to your inner core, bring it back to yourself. And we can do that easy with breath.
Action Tribe, to access the show notes for today's episode, visit my7chakras.com/152. That's my7chakras.com/152. New beginnings are often disguised as painful endings. This is an amazing quote by Lao Tzu. Action Tribe, no matter what you're going through right now, no matter what the challenge is, no matter whether or not you think you're able to handle it, I want to assure you that you have the capacity to overcome this challenge. Life is full of ups and downs, and those are the experiences that really make life interesting. There are times when all of us feel like we're struggling in darkness, in pain, as we are discussing today. But always remember the words of Lao Tzu, because your new beginning is just around the corner. So Asha, could you talk to us about a major challenge or an obstacle that you've faced in your life? Firstly, how did you encounter it? And then also tell us, how did you actually overcome that challenge?
Yes. One of the biggest challenges that I had was the loss of my mother, actually. I was very close with my mother. My mother was diagnosed with a terminal illness, and that shattered my world completely. Because it was an unexpected thing, but also I was very much connected with her on a spiritual level. Of course, she was my mother, but she is my mother still. But she was a very big spiritual support, and that really shook my world up. Shortly after she passed away, I also lost two very close friends shortly after that. So I was kind of in a snowball of loss and grief, and really just kind of I consider it like just a snowball rolling downhill, just out of control, and not really knowing how to get back up. And in the midst of that, I took a leap of faith and sold everything and packed 2 suitcases and moved to Europe at that time. Okay. And this was how I did that was I knew in the darkness that was going on, in the grief, in the sadness, in the feeling of being lost and just not knowing which way to go. I knew that there was something there for me. I felt like I need to do something. I need to to really challenge myself in some way, because if I stay in this, I'm just going to keep on getting deeper and deeper and deeper into this darkness. And in that dark moment, actually, I just really started getting even closer to who I really am. It was step by step. I was meditating more. I was doing a lot of yoga at the time, really intensely, and really spending a lot of time journaling and everything. And in this, I decided, okay, now is the time that it's time to make a move. I always wanted to move to Europe. It was a dream of mine whenever I was younger. And I thought, why not then? Just do it. And so, of course, I wanted to practice my profession, and I went through all the things that you had to do to get your visas and all of those things. And then I came here. And it was a big challenge, because then you're on your own. You don't know anybody. You don't know the language. You have to learn everything. But I will tell you, there was this trust, this really deep trust that I was cultivating in that, and have been cultivating ever since, that I wouldn't trade for anything else in the world, actually. Of course, we always say, oh, would we go back and change things? I actually wouldn't. Even though maybe if we had had this conversation 10 years ago, I probably would not have been able to say that. But now, looking at it, I can honestly say that perseverance and that inner push, really, from my higher self, my spiritual self, my soul, was so deep and so profound that it really helped me pull into what I knew was possible and the potentiality. So it was a big surrender, I guess, a surrendering, that inner acceptance of what is, and being able to move on from that.
Mm-hmm. So looking back now, looking at your memories, your experiences, in just one sentence, what is that one major life lesson that you'd like to share with our listeners today?
I would say, be yourself, be your true self, because the world is waiting. Mm-hmm. The world is waiting for you, for each and every one of us, because the thing that I learned with that is the ability to let go of what people think you should be doing or how your life should be. Let go of that. Just be you. You came here to really be yourself. And that's the greatest gift that we can give.
So thanks a lot for sharing your story with us. I'm sure those experiences were really challenging, really painful. You shared that the biggest challenge was the loss of your mother, an experience that was really devastating for you. And a short while after that, you lost 2 other souls. At that point, you felt out of control and you had no idea really how to come back. In the moment, you took action. You actually packed your bags and you left for Europe. You took action because you wanted to, it seems, get out of the energy that was surrounding you at that point. You just, as you put it, let go. That helped you change your lifestyle. You did more yoga, meditation, more journaling. It was a new language, new culture, and new processes. Everything was new. But deep down, you had a sense of trust that guided you all the way there because you opened the door in the first place. So thanks a lot for sharing. Action Tribe, I hope you've taken down notes and visualized how the information that you've heard today will impact your life, because it will. The change is already happening. You have gifted yourself this episode, and as a result, you've already created numerous neural pathways that have changed your brain chemistry. Whether you can feel it or not, no matter what challenge you're going through right now, be assured that you will overcome it. No matter how many people may have given up on you so far, don't give up, because help is on its way. And no matter how dark the situation might be assured that sunshine is on its way. But make sure that your faith is stronger than ever, because as Emily Dickinson once said, not knowing when dawn will come, I open every door. And like we're learning today, it's really important that when you are in a situation that you can't manage, or you feel devastated, or if you're in a situation where you can't even imagine getting out of it, then make sure that you don't lose that faith, that light that is deep within you, and that you open each and every door. So Asha, at this point in time, what is your life's calling?
I feel like my life's calling is to inspire and to help people figure how to turn on the light within them and shine that light bright into the world. And yeah, I find it's something that getting into our authentic alignment, each and every one of us, we can do things together by being our true essential self. And I feel like my calling is really to help people in any way that I can realize that for themselves, realize their own potential.
Wonderful. Now, if you had to relive the memories of your life, is there a defining moment, a moment that really changed things for you?
A moment that really changed things for me. Gosh, there's so many. Let me think of,
Sure.
I would say probably when I moved, actually, I will say that really changed me when I landed into a country that I knew no one and I didn't know the language. And it was a defining moment because at that point, I realized that, wow, not many people will do this. And I've taken the step. It's on my path to do this. And it really changed me. Looking back over the last 8.5, almost 9 years that I've been here, it was a defining moment for me because you start to realize how you do have everything that you need within yourself. And if you can just trust that you will know what to do. You'll know what to say. You'll know, all the things that we fret about, all the things that we worry about mentally. We're mentally stressed out because, what am I going to say about this? What am I going to do about this? And we have that deep knowing. Just trust it. And that was a defining moment for me when I arrived.
Well, thanks a lot for sharing. And with that, we are at the very last round for today's show, the wisdom round. So let's begin with this question. What is the best advice that someone's ever given you?
The best advice that someone has ever given me is really to just be. Just to be. That sometimes doing is not necessary, but to be present, aware in the moment. And that was some of the best advice I got from a mentor of mine several years ago. Just there's so much more that you can accomplish, so to speak, in being rather than doing. That really has helped me along the way.
So name a personal habit that keeps you strong.
Meditation, definitely.
So Asha, what's your morning routine like? What do you do during the first 2 hours of your day?
So I get up, I journal and do some free thought writing, basically. I do meditation and I do yoga. And I usually will listen to some sort of inspirational music or something of that nature. And just really tune in with myself, actually. And I love the morning hours. I love the first couple of hours because it's all about really connecting within to be able to begin the day.
So name a book that you'd like to recommend for our listeners today, because our listeners love getting book recommendations based on the emails that I received.
I love the book and the story of The Peaceful Warrior by Dan Millman. That book for me, I highly recommend it because it is his story. It is based on his life story. And I find that is a great depiction of how we all struggle between our soul, spirit, higher self, and ego. And I really like that book.
Wonderful. Action Tribe, to access today's show notes, visit my7chakras.com/152. That's my7chakras.com/152. So Asha, thanks a lot for joining us today, sharing those amazing stories, those insights. But before you go, tell us one thing that you're truly grateful for and tell us the best way we can find you.
I'm grateful for my family and all the support that I have received in my life. Very grateful for them. And you can find me at my website, www.theprasadmethod.com. You can definitely find me on Facebook as well and connect with me on there. Just Dr. Asha Prasad, the creator of the Prasad Method. You can look me up on there. Those are the best ways to connect with me.
And I believe you have a meditation for us?
Yes, absolutely. You can download a free mind-body meditation at theprasadmethod.com/meditation.
Wonderful. We'll have this link up in the show notes. So is this a guided meditation or?
It is. It is a guided meditation where I talk people through. A lot of people haven't had an introduction to meditation or don't know much about it. And so it is a guided meditation and experience. It's something for really anybody that's done meditation before. You can really benefit from going through that experience. So I encourage you to go to that page and visit that, experience that.
So Action Tribe, the link is theprasadmethod.com/meditation. And we'll have that up in the show notes as well. So Asha, thank you so much for coming on our show, talking to us about establishing an authentic alignment and taking us one step closer to a human revolution.
Thank you, AJ. I really enjoyed chatting with you today and sharing with your listeners.
You were listening to My 7 Chakras. Go to mysevenchakras.com. Download your free gift, get inspired, and take action. Transform your life today.